Hello everyone, welcome to News Tonight. I'm Rhoda Ngonzi, on sign language Mugalu Mohammed. Let's take a look at our top stories for the night. Finance Minister presents the national budget showing an improvement of the economy. Representatives for Internet Corporation for sign names and numbers are in Uganda. Over 2,000 children born with Clubfoot disease. In sports, like Oliver Twist, National Council of Sports asks for more budgetary allocation. Hello once again. Today has been budget day for the financial year 2019-2020, with allocations amounting to 40.4 trillion shillings. Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development Matia Kasaija read the monies allotted to various national priorities and ministries at Kampala Serena Hotel. Debt repayment was allotted 10.6 trillion, works and transport 6.4 trillion, defense and security 3.6 trillion, education 3.2 trillion, energy 2.5 trillion, local governments 2.8 trillion, health that's 2.5 trillion, accountability 1.9 trillion, justice, law and order that's 1.6 trillion, while agriculture got 1 trillion shillings, water and environment sector that's 1 trillion shillings, public administration 908 billion, public sector management 789 billion, parliament 888 billion, among other sectors. The president emphasized the need to engage those that are not actively engaged in the cash flow economy yet contribute to the national treasury.
In the financial year we are about to end, and in that statement, I reaffirmed the NRM's government's commitment to attain our cherished goal of a middle income status for the country through interventions targeted at inclusive growth and a socio-economic transformation. Uganda has made substantial progress toward this goal, as demonstrated by the following few examples. 1. Uganda's economy has recovered and peaked momentum, growing at over 6% per annum over the last 2 years. 2. With the progress in economic growth, average incomes of Ugandans have increased to $825 per person in financial year we are about to end, compared to $800 in the previous year, notwithstanding increase in the population size to now about 39 Ugandans. 3. The quality of Uganda's labor force has drastically improved, with the proportion of labor force with the tertiary education increasing from 7.5 in 2013 to 13.6 in 2017. In addition, the annual growth in formal employment has averaged 9.8% between 2010 and 2017, higher than the average growth of the economy during the same period. The structure of the economy has also changed. The share of industry in the economy is now 21% compared to 11.3% in 1986 when we took over Mr. President power. Services have increased to 48.7% from 32% over the same period. In contrast, the share of agriculture has reduced from over 50% in 86 to now only 22% in this financial year that we are soon ending.
Meanwhile, in his address to Parliament shortly after the budget was presented, President Museveni appealed to all leaders, political, religious, cultural and civic, to use their proximity to the population and educate them on how to work and create wealth. The president rapped the opposition for using fake excuses that they have failed to sensitize their people on wealth creation. He also criticized members of the opposition who advocate violence to achieve political goals.
It means at no time during the 27 years of my political, socio-economic efforts did we try to kulemesa. To fail the governments that were in power. The British, the UPC 1, Idi Amin, UNLF, UPC 2, or Ruto. We never, the groups I belonged to never worked to Kulemesa. Never. Kulemesa to fail, or Kulemesa is to fail. When we were fighting, that was not Kulemesa, that's called Okurwana. You can see these people, they can't even understand the language. How do I communicate with these people? Instead, we are always trying to use the positive points that existed in the respective governments, even when we were fighting. Idi Amin built the Hima cement factory and the salt processing factory at Katwe Kabatoro. We never tried to blow up those factories, even when we were fighting Idi Amin with guns. Why? It is because our line is that Uganda needs more and more factories, not less, whether the NRM is in power or not. When the NRM eventually came to power, after many years of struggle, the country and the NRM were actually, in some small ways, helped by those factories.
Now, President Museveni has said that the government is determined to put an end to the seasonal water scarcity in Karamoja sub-region through building permanent dams to trap runoff water from the flash floods that are rampant during the rainy season. The president was addressing a public rally at Christ the King Church grounds in Lotaruk village, Lorachat sub-county, Pien County, in the new district of Nabilatuk, Karamoja sub-region.
Sold some programs in Karamoja. And now we are harvesting some good things.
President Museveni, currently on a nationwide tour to promote the job and wealth creation campaign to ensure improved household livelihoods, addressed a public rally at Christ the King Church grounds in Loratuk village, Lorachat County, Nabilatuk in Karamoja sub-region. President Museveni said that government is determined to put an end to the seasonal water scarcity in Karamoja sub-region through building permanent dams to trap runoff water from the flash floods that are rampant during the rainy season. He advised the Karamojong to be keen on trapping rain runoff water and channel it to valley dams, adding that the floods caused by rain recently resulting in the washing away of a bridge on Lorachat River shouldn't have happened if the rainwater had been trapped in valley dams. The president also called on Karamojong to check their cows to identify those with brucellosis and take precaution when milking.
To check your cows and find out which have got brucellosis. If the cow has got brucellosis and you milk it and you have got a cut on your finger, it will go through that. When you have a cut, don't milk cows. Therefore, for you people in the villages, the easiest thing is to boil milk.
He added that brucella can also cause barrenness in men.
Because once it goes to the factory, yes, you will continue to be a man, but you will never produce children.
The president said he was happy with the development trends that are taking place in Karamoja, adding that roads and electricity will be extended to the areas of Kotido, Karenga and Kidepo.
Adim already has electricity, and we are now working on extending electricity to Kotido and Kabong and Karenga.
After his address, Karamojong elders Lomogini and Agnes Aliper, looking as a sign of respect, later decorated the president in traditional Karamojong attire. UBC TV, Harriet Nambi.
President Yoweri Museveni and the First Lady Janet Museveni have welcomed to Uganda renowned Nigerian pastor Enoch Adeboye, the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God Worldwide, and his wife Foluke Adenike. The pastor, who is in Uganda at the invitation of the Redeemed Church of God Uganda, together with his wife, is slated to hold a number of Christian public meetings at Kololo Independence Ceremonial Grounds in Kampala, starting on the 13th till the 15th of June to spread Christ's good news. In a cordial meeting held at State House in Entebbe, President Museveni received blessings in form of prayer from Pastor Adeboye. The pastor invoked God to bless the president with good health, prosperity, and a continued wisdom to lead Uganda peacefully. The president was happy to note that the Pentecostal churches are now participating in projects that are creating prosperity for themselves and other people. Pastor Adeboye thanked President Museveni for keeping peace in Uganda, adding that it was the role of Christians to have influence in all facets of life, including their well-being. The president gifted Pastor Adeboye with books about the liberation struggle of Uganda and its beauty, while Pastor Adeboye gifted the president with Christian literature books, some of which were written by himself. Now, victims of the deadly Ebola virus have reached 2 after the grandmother of a 5-year-old boy who died yesterday has also been confirmed dead. According to primary source, the grandmother died at the hospital in the isolation unit after excessive bleeding. A hospital administrator at Bwera Hospital, Julius Tembo, confirmed the current situation but added that cholera dysentery have since hit the area. Bwera Hospital is the only Ebola patients referral hospital unit in Kasese district, which has also deployed tight entrance and exit checkpoints.
5 years back, parliamentarians learned that Uganda's internet domain name .ug was under control of a private entity, Infinity Computers and Communication Company, I3C.
We apologize for that. Representatives of the international body responsible for coordination and maintenance of databases and internet domains are in Uganda. Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN, is among regional and global internet organizations participating at a knowledge-sharing platform, Africa Internet Summit. They are raising awareness on the protection of internet interest and security.
5 years back, parliamentarians learned that Uganda's internet domain name .ug was under control of a private entity, Infinity Computers and Communication Company, I3C, formerly known as Computer Frontiers. Worries were expressed on the security and safety of highly sensitive government data. Concerned by the international body responsible for coordination and maintenance of databases of unique identifiers related to the namespaces of the internet, is more.
In your country, there must be someone running your .ug. That person is the one in the business of operating your .ug and has its own modalities, whatever. Of course, question in countries could be, how much is this, whoever is running this, opening up to the local business? You see, meaning if you are ISPs and you want to get into that business, are you in touch with this person, because you can thereby sign any contract with a business contract with that person.
Representatives of the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers participating at the Africa Internet Summit believe raising awareness about the domain name and system is of great help.
Our aim to be part of this structure is to be able to capture conversations that are happening in Uganda, but also be able to feed into the Africa, conversations. We've had what the Africa ICANN strategy is, making sure that the Africans were equally represented, in these conversations, but also there's being represented, but also understanding what the key topics or issues or concerns are, and how can we plug into that to be able to feed into our own local ecosystem.
Internet domain is in simple terms like names of people, distinguishing one from the other, but this time on the internet, which can be shared with associates and friends. An example is the global top-level domain .com, where chances are all have been taken up by several individuals. It is for this reason there are top-level domains at a country level, such as .ug for Uganda, .ke for Kenya, and .uk for the United Kingdom. These domains are located by ICANN, a US-based not-for-profit corporation dedicated to keeping the internet secure, stable, as well as develops internet's unique identifiers. Annual administration fee for operating a domain is paid to ICANN by registrars who sell them to the public.
Really, for that, one should make sure that Africans are well equipped to really embrace this thing. And I was talking about the registrars, for instance. Registrars are people who might be willing to sell domain names, for instance. That concretely, how do you do that? This is something we are in a position to inform you on. How should I become an entrepreneur in that field, for instance?
Onyango Jackson, reporting for UBC.
Victims of the deadly Ebola virus have reached 2 after the grandmother of a 5-year-old boy who died yesterday has also been confirmed dead. According to primary source, the grandmother died at the hospital in the isolation unit after excessive bleeding. Hospital administrator at Bwera Hospital, Julius Tembo, confirmed the current situation but added that cholera, dysentery have hit the area. Bwera Hospital is the only Ebola patients referral health unit in Kasese district, which has also deployed tight entrance and exit checkpoints.
Crisis. This is a crisis, and in crisis you give priority. They shouldn't get scared. We shall handle them. Yes.
Have you ever handled an other emergency equivalent to this before?
Yes. It's not the first of the kind. Cholera has been a problem. We have managed to calm it down. It's no longer handled. Dysentery, measles, other problems have been there. We have managed it. Even in this one, I am skeptical. With the support of the district team and our nation, we shall manage it. That's why even we are treating them now.
How did the patient?
Now, ignorance about albinism is fueling discrimination and stigma among people living with the condition. Situation analysis report on persons with albinism shows that all of them are discriminated against due to different myths and superstitions.
Someone died. 13th of June every year has been designated International Albinism Awareness Day to create awareness to the public that people with albinism deserve a dignified life. The theme for this year is Standing Strong. A situation analysis report on people with albinism in Uganda has been launched, with ignorance as major drivers for discrimination and stigma for people living with albinism.
The key finding is that as a country, we have not integrated the needs of these people into our systems, into our economic system, into our political system, into our health system. So that is a big miss on the part of government. So we find most of the issues of these people are being taken care of by charity organizations. So the key recommendations that we come up with, first and foremost, is that we need to create awareness about the conditions about albinism so that people understand that these people are just normal people. If you take care of them, they can live normal lives like you and me.
It's definitely discrimination and stigma, all the same in Sweden as well. And our society is doing whatever it can to remedy those issues.
The situation analysis report on people living with albinism proposes that government should integrate the needs of people living with albinism in all national development programs and plans.
We will be able to challenge government on the initial steps that can be done. For instance, other countries in East Africa have moved ahead in amplifying the voice of people with albinism. In Kenya, they're in the national budget. The government provides creams, and we all know now that creams are not a luxury for us. It's a life-saving cream. And in Tanzania, they have policies that distinguish between witchcraft and herbalist, which is not here. And through this, we still have a challenge of ritual sacrifice.
Albinism is still a neglected genetic disorder in Uganda, and therefore should be deliberate efforts to create awareness about the condition to limit discrimination and stigma. Adiana Kuti and Helen Barbara for UBC News.
Every 1 in 800 babies born in Uganda have congenital deformity, a condition where a child's legs are curved inwards. So every year, about 2,067 babies are born with clubfoot. Mulago Orthopedic Department calls upon parents to seek medication because the condition is treatable.
Because there is a tendency for the foot to go back.
Clubfoot disease is a congenital problem where a child is born with 1 or 2 legs curved inwards. Over 2,067 babies are born each year with clubfoot. Statistics show that from May 2018 until the end of April this year, 479 of the babies were treated before their first birthday. Dr. Madewo Geoffrey, the orthopedic consultant, calls for awareness to parents to avoid such a condition.
The current method that we are using is very effective, and that's why the numbers of operations of clubfoot has drastically dropped. We only operate a few cases of recurrent clubfoot, but if the child came to the hospital early, immediately after birth, the correction is simple and straightforward.
Treatment for clubfoot is gradual and is done by manipulation and casting of the leg.
Like this one, it normally joins itself. If it's a big person like her, it requires surgical repair.
The clinic at Mulago National Referral Hospital runs every Monday and Thursday, attending to over 40 to 50 mothers per week. A number of successful stories have been registered. Aaron Barunji is now in primary 7 and tells his story.
Couldn't walk well, but nowadays I walk well. I thank the doctors who have helped me and I can walk again. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't.
The mother, Dorothy Nabunya, explains that her son, formerly with a deformity, can now walk and play football.
Bwe gwali omuzundi gwange okulaba case bwetyo weewaawo tetwamuzaalira waneeno teyazaalibwa waneeno yali azaalibwa mu ddwaliro eddala naye twali tukyali mu ddwaliro eyo omukyala n'atubuulira nti basobola omujjanjaba ebigere ebyo.
Department of Orthopedics Mulago was celebrating the successful stories in treating clubfoot. The commemorations involved marking International Clubfoot Day, which comes on every 3rd of June, to create awareness about the complicated condition. Mtonyi Hilda, UBC.
Now, the increasing number of criminal cases in Kampala and other areas is attributed to drug addiction, especially among youth. This is realized by a number of suspects who have been arrested by local defense units and other security agents.
After undergoing a 9-month military training, over 6,000 local defense units were deployed in different parts of the country to curb the increased number of crime in villages. 2 months after deployment, the local defense units have improved security and reduced crime.
That this is what we call foundation security. It has worked in many places. It has really done a very good job. And actually, beyond that, we have even seen recoveries of stolen animals. People used to think of livestock theft taking place only, rustling taking place only in Karamoja. But we are seeing a new trend of theft taking place around Kampala, because we've recovered up to 15 animals.
But the local defense units have not met public expectations, although the spokesperson for land forces, Lieutenant Colonel Henry Bo, has a divergent view.
More especially the social media. There is some negative publicity coming here and there, try to decampaign this effort. But then this is a very noble cause. This is a very, very good, very good thing that should be supported.
After undergoing training, the public concern is that the local defense units were not deployed in the home villages.
Youths are supposed to be giving support to the police to ensure law and order. This is what we call, as I already told you earlier, this is foundation security. They are supposed to ensure law and order. That's why they work with the police, and that's why you find most of their deployments are within police stations. So they are supposed to support police in any way that the police will require them to support, and that is constitutional.
It is alleged that increased drug abuse among youth is responsible for the highlighted criminal activities.
In this period of time of 1 month, these troops you see here have already arrested 210 with the exhibits, either consuming, in possession, or marketing. So you see, like the case of Bugolobi, these are cases of once people have taken these drugs, they get charged.
This was during a visit at Nakawa Local Defense Unit Battalion by the spokesperson of Land Forces and the spokesperson for Local Defense Unit, Major Bilal Katamba at Chambago University in Nakawa Division. I'm Omorodo reporting for UBC.
Meanwhile, Justice Lydia Mugambe has set 8th October to kick off the hearing of a case of Uganda Journalism Association against the directives of Uganda Communications Commission to suspend journalists from 30 media stations for breach of minimum broadcasting standards. Justice Lydia Mugambe has directed all the applicants to file their cases at once. In the new filed cases, they have included the Executive Director, UCC, Engineer Godfrey Mutabazi, and the Attorney General. Mike Aboneka, the counsel for the applicants, explains.
We have added the Attorney General and the Mr. Godfrey Mutabazi. So this new application is Mike Aboneka, Center for Constitutional Governance and Strategic Response International. The reason as why we are adding the Attorney General is that the Media Council is not yet fully constituted, and the law obliges the Minister for Information to appoint all the 4 people that have not yet constituted the Media Council. Number 2, the tribunal of UCC has not yet been established, and it's the mandate of the President and the Minister to constitute the tribunal. So we are asking courts to force them, as by writ of mandamus, to make sure that the Media Council is fully constituted and also that the tribunal is constituted. The reason why we're adding Mr. Godfrey Mutabazi is that the law says that all the decisions that come out of UCC must be board decisions.
Meanwhile, Omorodo Regional Referral Hospital is in dire need of a tuberculosis ward. The hospital that receives patients from the surrounding 7 districts has no decent place to accommodate the overwhelming number of patients, some of whom are on multi-drug resistant treatment.
Omorodo Regional Referral Hospital is located in the town of Omorodo in northeastern Uganda. It is the referral hospital for the districts of Abim, Kabong, Kotido, Omorodo, Nakapiripirit, Napak, and Nabiratuk. In 2015, the government of Uganda, using $52.6 million borrowed from the World Bank, rehabilitated and renovated 7 hospitals including Omorodo Hospital that received 25 billion shillings. The hospital's new block houses outpatient departments that accommodate up to 500 patients. However, despite such improvements, what acts as the hospital's tuberculosis ward is in a very poor state. The hospital registers between 4 to 6 new TB cases per week and over 20 multi-drug resistant patients receiving treatment here, yet the facility can only accommodate 12 patients.
And now we're a center for MDR TB. Some of them, they're picked from the street. They come to the Bulletin hospital, nobody is taking care of them, they need food, and food is part of treatment for TB. Our TB ward is in a poor state. At the moment, we're trying to build a maternity as the first priority. So we need support to get us a ward for TB patients and also to support these patients.
The in-country Global Fund Board that toured the hospital during their oversight visit in the district put an emergency TB ward top on the agenda for Omorodo Regional Referral Hospital.
In fact, the laboratory shows us that every week they diagnose 4 to 6 patients with TB. This means that in a year they will be looking at almost 300 cases of TB. This is very high, and I noted that because it is very high, the gene expert machine which is used for diagnosis, there's only one. We need another gene expert machine which can be able to help us be able to diagnose even more, to make people get access. 2, we have the TB ward which has been improvised. We need to have a comprehensive TB ward that can be able to help us in the treatment of these patients very well.
Other priorities highlighted include a biosafety cabinet, a CBC machine, a regional blood bank, and more support to strengthen a referral system in the region. The Global Fund team also hinted on a possibility of sending funds directly to the hospital accounts, a suggestion welcomed by the hospital administration.
We are very ready in terms of systems to help us manage those funds, in terms of capacity to absorb, and the real issues that we are supposed to use the funds for are there. We have identified them, key 7 issues. So it is a matter of receiving the funds, understanding the procedures, how to manage them from Global Fund, and following them up.
Under the 2017 to 2019 funding cycle, the Global Fund allocated US dollars 278,363,299 to Uganda for fighting tuberculosis and HIV. The in-country Global Fund team resumes its oversight visits tomorrow in Kiryandongo district, where they will also visit health centers in refugee settlements. Bernard Iga, UBC TV, Omorodo district in Karamoja.
Now, Ministry of Education officials led by State Minister for Primary Education Rosemary Seninde Nansubuga are in Acholi sub-region to review the Speed School program being implemented in over 100 schools in the districts of Noya, Amuru, Gulu and Omoro.
Special school program piloted by Geneva Global, an international non-governmental organization that is implemented by local partners, gives opportunity to school dropout pupils between the age of 8 to 18 to re-enroll through a special training. Passing to the next class is on a quarterly basis before they are enrolled into primary 4 in normal classes. The model also gives 1 million shillings worth of grants to parents of these children to enhance their livelihood by doing business that supports their children when they join the normal class.
First of all, we have appreciated the fact that it helps the children that dropped out of school and those who totally had no hope.
Minister Rose Seninde said government has taken interest in the model and wants to see if it can be adopted.
They call it Speed School because these children, in 1 year, they cover all the work that should have been done in 3 years. So I think we have seen that many of these children can be able to read, can be able to write. The parents are very appreciative because they have seen an impact of what the Speed Schools do. And another thing that we have actually strongly appreciated is the fact that even the teachers in these UPE schools from P4 onwards, which have already taken up the children that have gone through the speed schools, have testified that these children can read very well, like school, they are very motivated and interested in learning, and they are actually showing a very big difference between the children from the speed schools and the children in the UPE system.
Meanwhile, Okello Douglas Peter Okau, who is Omorodo district chairperson, called upon the government to adopt to the model with immediate effect.
We have 68 government-aided schools in Omorodo district. Now, out of the 68 government-aided schools in Omorodo district, there are selected schools that are piloting the implementation of these speed education programs. And this implementation has improved because when you look at the statistics, from 2006 to date, when Omorodo became a district, with the support of our partners, many of these children who have dropped out from school have been reunited back to school. So to me, if this, which I want to suggest, that government of the Republic of Uganda, particularly the Ministry of Education and Sports, can take this as a basic method to undertake in addressing and reuniting children who have dropped out of school in the district.
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has drafted Older Persons Bill 2019 aimed at protecting the rights of older people. The Commissioner for Disability and the Elderly in the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Sam Wekesa, says the bill addresses issues like access to health care, economic empowerment and participation in the development process.
Uganda has an estimated 3.5 million older people. Research carried out by Uganda Reach, the Aged Association, in collaboration with Help Age International, shows that 95% of older people face ageism. Ageism means discrimination based on someone's age. The research, titled Understand and Challenge Ageism, was funded by Oxfam under the Voice program to find out the challenges older persons face in their communities.
And we discovered that ageism is manifested in so many ways. First of all, in the health facilities, older people are mistreated, they are not taken care of. Others have revealed or shared with us that some medical staff have told them that treating them is a waste of medicine. It's a form of ageism. Even in agriculture, operation welfare creation, some people, they are not given inputs because they feel they cannot use them well to grow crops.
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has now drafted Older Persons Bill 2019 aimed at protecting the rights of older people.
It is also looking at the issue of giving capacity and increasing participation of older persons in the development process, and also addressing issues like health. You know, older persons have a lot of problems in terms of their health conditions.
When the Older Persons Bill 2019 becomes law, there will be a formulation of regulations which will provide for the establishment of the Older Persons Fund to support economic empowerment.
Earlier plans, we had also put a fund for older persons, which can be working in the same way like a youth livelihood program and WEP.
They are waiting for it. It will go a long way to support older persons because one of the recommendations in our research is support economic empowerment, and that is what older people have requested for. So any sort of fund, any sort of support to older people to promote or to enable them engage in the income generating activities is welcome, and it will go a long way to support older persons.
Ugandans have been urged to develop a spirit of nationalism and have a mindset change. This has been disclosed by Professor Lee Myugo, who, while addressing youth at Tutors College Mulago in Kampala. Lee Myugo said there is still need to educate Ugandans the benefits of time management if they are to prosper in all aspects of life.
Mindset is a base of base. So through that, we can change everything. So, and you know, Korea is the one sample of the successful sample of the mindset change. So Korea was one of the poorest countries in the world about 50 years ago. So now we Korea don't have any the natural resource underground. Also, we are a very small country, but the population is more than 50 million. How we could develop our country without nothing? Surely nothing. For example, now we are the export coffee make, product of the coffee. We are the exporting nation, the first the nation exporting the coffee. But we cannot produce any the raw material of the coffee. How we can? So this is the changing mindset.
With that, we take a quick break. We return with business news. You're watching News Tonight.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Have you completed Senior 4 or Senior 6 and you want to do a 2-year certificate or diploma course? Makerere Institute for Social Development, an affiliate to Makerere University Business School, offers programs in accounting and finance, business administration, procurement and supplies management, social work and social administration, information technology, counseling and guidance, human resource management, project planning and management, journalism, secretarial studies, and others. We are on Sir Apollo Kagwa Road next to Oilcom Petrol Station, and we have a UBTEB center number. Makerere Institute for Social Development, facilitating your career.
Freedom City yako yongoma! 7th chapter music na city events wakusako. Take off papare kome bere kome na mwenda. Gakulunesi tundaba yimbi bonaba manya.
Representative waka WhatsApp it's a boy in the Kenzo. I'm so much Makumi July. Freedom City takeover party. Calvin the entertainer. You don't know.
Some we originate, some of them are imitated. It's the king herself on the 20th of July.
Mr. Semagra, B2C, Ravidom Tuju, White Bender, King Saha, Lydia Jasmine, Space Dana, Ghetto Kids, Baltic Music, Maureen Antume, Fefe Busi, Levinson, Exodasa, Tim Swizzy, Sharon Payton, Robert Daba, Alento from USA, Palazzo, Chosen Blood, Vivian Tendo, Rened, Azizacion, Senga Banga, Topika Sente, Naira Ali, Hey Pass, Ruden White, Mr. Kamenyo, Big Guy, Steady, Naba Ibeba Labanji, Runechi Chakwana Mefu, one of Let's Cover the Entertainer, Gajago Zemiaka Komina Gomonga, Kueresa.
Calvin Jangondane, yo, what's up? I'll be performing at Freedom City on the 20th of July, takeover party.
Nakuzomweza abiri July, twetange ku Freedom City, tatuwagira Calvin, emyaka 10 na gumu.
Ina Freedom City ngabiri July, hoking up twaro gumo, vipi tware ebiri, Calvin the Entertainer ye kalabalaba. Emyongi grow sound mwendezo regulo. UBC bachivu jiride, chinono chigesemo. Ngabiri July, kome biri kumna mwenda, Freedom City.
You're still watching News Tonight. In business news, a cross-section of the public and civil society organizations have urged government to walk the talk in its industrialization agenda. At a listening-in session of the budget at Africana Hotel in Kampala, concerns were raised on the ability of Uganda to industrialize without allocating more resources to the agriculture sector. In the 2019-20 fiscal year, government has allocated 1 trillion shillings to the agriculture sector.
That's the money the local governments. How many are there in Uganda? 170. You do much pressure.
120.
So you find that each will get less.
Government is trying to put in place address those barriers, especially in the electricity and road network. But by and large, that's a work which has to be done by the private sector, which I think there is some effort being done. But given the population growth and the demands the economy has, we still have a lot to go, because most of the industrial park the minister has talked about, Namanve and others, are not yet functional because of the limitations in infrastructure, which is still a big challenge for most industrialists. And also the biggest one is actually the high cost of power, even for small-scale industrialists, which I think are the most critical part of our rural economy.
If you look at the interest rate, because many of the farmers, many of Ugandans are really suffering with interest rate and access to credits. The minister mentioned that agriculture, which is the biggest contributor to the economy, to the GDP of this country, still is just occupying 12%. 12% of credit goes to agriculture. So where do the rest of the farmers get their credit from? So we need to think through deeply to know that this budget cannot deliver the shared prosperity that the government is aspiring to get. If you look at interest rate and you're saying you're going to recapitalize UDB with 300 billion, how many farmers really can access credit from UDB?
But also I think a budget is figures and numbers. It's an input into a process. If the process is not functioning, budgets don't matter. So I think we need to go beyond the budget numbers who are being processed and interrogate the functionality of the system.
Relatedly, industrialization for shared prosperity is the theme for the 2019-20 fiscal year budget. Dr. Fred Muhumuza, a senior economist, dissects the theme of this financial year's budget.
Drum in and say, if you are to look for industrialization for jobs and shared prosperity, that theme alone is both good and wanting. One is the industrialization has got to leverage agriculture in order to succeed. So already the theme that does not mention the word agriculture has no right to mention the word industrialization, has no right to mention the word jobs, has no right to mention the word shared prosperity. It is hanging. And that's where I want to come from. To say you seem to have given us something, but is it just as he said, the 1,000 you are putting on the table? Or is it inbuilt within the whole thinking that I was underlying the budget thinking? If the budget thinking was just about industrialization, then you'll begin to see money going to roads, money going to energy, money going to security, because they believe that is what will bring industry. And yet for us we are saying industry must begin with agriculture. The minister has rightfully mentioned and said a Soroti fruit factory was commissioned. What is missing? The fruits. That's agriculture. We already have a fruit factory in Kapeka. The last time I visited them, they were not producing for 3 months. They were waiting for fruits. That's agriculture. Now where has the money gone to operationalize the Soroti fruit factory? To Uganda Development Corporation, UDC. And UDC is going to be looking for fruits to buy, which are not there. Why shouldn't that 10 billion have gone directly into agriculture so that you only give it to UDC in the next budget when the fruits are ready? So we want to really interrogate the details before we do any celebration here. Otherwise, like you have said, you look so beautiful, here is 1,000 shillings, you can begin from there with Kuyeya.
The new National Council of Sports General Secretary Dr. Patrick Ogwell appreciates government for the 26 billion shillings directed to the subsector under Education and Sports Ministry in the 2019-20 budget. He, however, reasons that the budget remains inadequate to cater for key projects like infrastructural development and equitable distribution of all 48 national associations.
But in any situation, we work with the priorities, we prioritize. We have also introduced, and we are thinking council should be able to adopt this aspect, where we have a competent support to representative clubs, like KCC, like Vipers, like the Nemo Stars, when they go out, because they are going to represent the country. We want to also post some little money to such clubs, because they are representing Uganda. We want to think how best we can support such clubs. But the issue at the end, the money is not adequate. The impression I have is that I'm grateful that there's something which has come through. But I'm also saying we still need much more funding. That money is not adequate. As far as we are concerned, it will help us to sustain our development programs of developing the sport. But the needs of national associations are very huge. The needs of the regulator, which is National Council of Sports, is very huge. And we can only be better if government provide the 187 billion in the strategic development plan. That would be a more focused budget framework that would address almost all the core issues in sport development and would enable sports subsector to do rich investments. Because under that, we are also looking at investments in infrastructure.
Federation of Uganda Basketball Association has named its respective national teams ahead of international assignments. The Lady Gazelles are getting set for the Afro Basketball Tournament to be hosted by Uganda between 26th June and 1st July, while the men's team, the Silverbacks, will contest the Pioneer African Nations Cup qualifier, whose final is set for Mali in July. For both tournaments, Uganda faces its Zone 5 opponents, including Egypt, Kenya, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Burundi. The women's team of 12, to be tutored by Nicholas Natuhereza and Ali Mavita, has Jamila Nancy Kombi, Judith Nansovia, Brenda Ekone, Martha Sochi, Claire Lamuno, and American best Cotton Kalenza. The men's team includes Tony Juleba, Josh Johnson, Stephen Omonyi, Joshua Ikong, John Dengu, and Stanley Mugerwa. The Silverbacks are under the stewardship of Mande Jiruni and George Galanpolis and start training immediately. Meanwhile, Uganda Athletics Federation has confirmed that top 3 athletes in each of the 14 competitions events at this weekend's Chiabazanga Track and Field Championship are to win a cash prize. The championship, to be hosted at Busoga University in Iganga, will also witness a trophy awarded to the best district team. Over 30 teams, including schools, clubs, universities and districts, have already confirmed participation in this event, which is the second regional championship on the 2019 Uganda Athletics Federation calendar. The district category has been boosted by new entrants like Buyende, Luka, Bugweri, Namutumba, Namayigo, and the newly formed Kamudi and Bujidi municipalities. The championship, that has witnessed action for more than 10 years, also has secondary schools like Iganga Townview, King of Kings, Jinja SS, Wairaka College, Wachitaka, and Jinja Nursing School entered. Being a qualifier event for upcoming international engagements, numerous clubs, including police prisons in Deje and Arua, have confirmed participation. And with that, let's take a look at the weather update.
Thanks for watching UBC. It's time for the weather update. I'm Daphne Kavasita and Samba. Most parts of the country had rainfall and there were some floods in some areas, especially in Kampala, but that report will get it tomorrow. For today, by 9 a.m., Arua reported the highest amount of rainfall of 46.6 millimeters, and then Toro had the lowest of 1.1 millimeters. Checking on the satellite image over Uganda, it shows that the rain belt is over our country. That's why we are having rains, and we are still expecting more rains to come in the next 3 3 days. For tomorrow, we are expecting light showers around Lake Victoria, northern part of the country. Other parts of Uganda, we are expecting sunny intervals. Later in the afternoon, showers are expected in most parts of the country. Temperatures expected to rise to 25 degrees Celsius in Kampala. In Kotido, we are expecting temperatures to rise to 28, and then in Kabale, we are expecting temperatures to rise to 24. Going beyond Uganda, Nairobi, we are expecting thunder showers with temperatures rising to 20, and then we are expecting sunny conditions in Dar es Salaam, Dubai, and Johannesburg. Cloudy conditions with temperatures rising to 18 degrees Celsius. Amsterdam, we are expecting thunder showers.
All right, now our top stories for the night. Finance Minister Matia Kasaija presents the national budget showing an improvement of the economy. Representatives of the Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers are in Uganda. Over 2,000 children born with Clubfoot disease. And like Oliver Twist, National Council of Sports asks for more budgetary allocation. And that does it. Thank you for sticking with us throughout the hour. Mugalo Mohammed on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Have a lovely night.
Was brought to you by UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.